Welcome to hell. My video about hell, part of a 7-part series in which I deconstruct the idea of hell, which comes not from the Bible, but from Augustine and others a few hundred years after Christ. Why am I taking this on? Why am I stirring up this cinder pot of burning coals? Because people are being terrified by the idea of hell. If it were true, it would be something we'd have to deal with. If it's not true, and it's not, we need to let people know. I could never, if I had the power, I could never send a human being into eternal torture. Couldn't do it. I get mad at people, but I could not do that. Not even to my worst enemy. And that's not just because I was told to love and forgive, and we were told that, but because I just don't have it in me to hate someone that much. If God can, then that's not a God of love. It's something else. Well, God's ways are not our ways. Yeah, and if my ways turn out to be less condemning, more compassionate than God's ways, then it's not God we're talking about. Here's a quick summary of the previous videos. Hell is no place that a loving God could create for human beings to go for all eternity. We should reject hell because it's unbiblical. No one in the Bible even had a concept of it. We should reject hell because of what it says about God, that God is vengeful, petty, unforgiving. We should reject hell because of what it says about humanity, that people are best motivated by, not by love, which the Bible tells us is true, but by fear and punishment. We should reject hell because it brings out the very worst in us, giving us permission to use any tactics to get our way. And in this video, we should reject hell because of what it says about love. We say God loves us. Then we say God will throw most of us into eternal torture for messing up in whatever way, it doesn't matter. Do you see what that says about love? That God loves us and uses fear to motivate us. That love is not sufficient to God, so God must resort to fear. That love is weaker than fear. And even though the greatest of these is love, and love never fails, it's not sufficient to motivate us. That God's all-encompassing love, oh sure, it's magnificent, but we better have a backup plan. That's what it's saying. Just think about that for a minute. No, small trigger warning here. Let's say my husband would like me to make breakfast, and he says, honey, I'm thinking bacon, eggs, and toast. How does that sound to you? I say, sure, sounds great. I'll make it now. He gets his coffee, puts plates on the table, sits down, and right next to his plate, he puts a gun. And I say, what's that for? And he says, oh, we won't need it, but it's just in case you don't make breakfast. Okay, everything has changed. I was happy to make breakfast, but because I love him and because I would enjoy sharing it with him, but now I'm terrified. Do you see that? It was an interaction based on love, but now there's no love left in it. Even though he would never use the gun, the fact that it's there, the fact that he would introduce it, completely changes the relationship forever. There's no recovering from that. Do you see that? Hell changes our relationship to God. God offers us a magnificent, all-encompassing, incredible love. How great is the love the Father has lavished on us, that God has lavished on us. But if God needs a gun, hell, to threaten or back it up, it's not magnificent. There's a verse in the New Testament, in 1 John 4, that says, God is love, and God's love has no fear, because full, complete love expels all fear. If we're afraid, it goes on to say, it is for fear of punishment. And this shows we haven't yet fully experienced God's complete and lavish love. That's powerful. That's what we should be teaching on Sunday mornings. Fear is the opposite of love. Just as a gun on the table or hell on the table chases away the love and fills it with fear, real love on the table chases away the fear. Real love, God's full and complete love, does not use fear to help it along, to get God's message across. Real love expels fear. Fear of punishment is not the tough part of God's love. It's the antithesis of God's love. Don't let anyone tell you in love that you're going to hell. That's not in love. That's in fear. You're not going to hell. There's no hell to go to. I've got one more video in this series to wrap it all up. Meanwhile, don't be afraid. You're beloved. Go love and be loved. Above all else, love.